Virology Chapter 2 online flashcards. Starting with question, then ending with answer. Question. Medication used to treat viral infections most act by targeting virus replication at specific time points in the virus's replication cycle. Antiviral drug. Number 2. The intentional or threatened use of biological agents to cause fear in or actually inflict death or disease upon a large population. Bioterrorism. Question number 3. The meat of wild animals, such as rats, bats, and monkeys present in the forests of Africa, when cooked, dried, or smoked, this is a life-sustaining protein where nutrition is scarce. When uncooked, this may be a reservoir or primary source of Ebola virus, ultimately causing Ebola infection in humans. Bushmeat. 4. The protein shell that encloses and protects the nucleic acid genome of a virus. Capsid. 5. Identical subunits composed of structural proteins called protomers that form the capsid of a virus particle. Capsomers. 6. Term used to describe the shape of viruses that do not fit in the typical icosahedral or helical structure shape, such as poxviruses. Complex. 7. Polymerases that catalyze the synthesis, transcription of RNA by copying a DNA template into RNA. DNA-dependent RNA polymerases. 8. Period after a viral infection in which the input or inoculated virus particles disappears. No virus particles can be detected at this time because the input viruses have undergone the uncoding step in their replication cycle. Eclipse phase. 9. Collection of excess fluid in the tissue and cavities of the body. For example, the lungs of individuals suffering from influenza A virus infection during the 1918 influenza pandemic filled up with fluid after infection with a highly virulent strain of influenza A virus, and their faces were puffy from this. Edema. 10. Inflammation of the brain. Viral infections are the most common cause of the condition. Encephalitis. 11. A human or animal virus that contains a membrane that was stolen from the host cell that is wrapped around the capsid of the virus particle. Enveloped virus. 12. An exceptionally large virus that is not filterable through filters with a pore size of 0.2 to 0.3 micrometers. Mimivirus was the first discovered of this. Gyrus. 13. Structure seen in nucleocapsids of many viruses, where this array of protomers is wrapped around this filament of nucleic acid. Helical. 14. Viruses that enable defective viruses to replicate. Helper viruses. 15. Inflammation of the liver caused by certain viral infections or abuse of alcohol or prescription drugs. Hepatitis. 16. Abnormal enlargement of the liver. Hepatomegaly. 17. A common shape of viral capsids. It is a polyhedron that has 20 identical equilateral triangular faces and 12 vertices. Icosahedron. 18. Reduction in the efficiency of the immune system, often the result of certain diseases or the use of certain drugs, such as those used to prevent rejection of transplanted organs or to reduce the severity of autoimmune diseases. Immunosuppression. 19. Inflammation of cornea of the eye, often caused by herpes simplex virus. Keratitis. 20. A reduction in the number of white blood cells in the blood. Leukopenia. 21. Epidemiological term that refers to the illness or disease state. Morbidity. 22. Epidemiological term that refers to number of deaths correlated with a particular disease. Mortality. 23. A virus without a lipid bilayer membrane envelope around the capsid of the virus particle. Its surface is composed of a protein shell, increasing its stability in the environment. Example, noroviruses and papillomaviruses. Naked virus. 24. A viral type of this that is not part of the viral particle. Example, viral polymerases or proteases. Non-structural proteins. 25. The viral protein shell that surrounds and protects its associated genome from the environment, which is laden with nucleases that can degrade RNA or DNA. Nucleocapsid. 26. An array designed to probe for multiple microbes, including viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites, to facilitate rapid, unbiased differential diagnosis of infectious diseases or to detect emerging viruses in clinical samples. Panmicrobial array. 27. A wart caused by papillomaviruses. Papilloma. 28. A covalent bond in DNA or RNA that joins the 3' carbon of a ribose in RNA or deoxyribose in DNA in a phosphate group to the 5' carbon, creating the sugar phosphate backbone of DNA or RNA in the 5' to 3' direction when a DNA or RNA molecule is synthesized. Phosphodiester bond. 29. Refers to the positive or negative sense of viral single-stranded RNA genomes. The negative sense single-stranded RNA is an antisense single-stranded RNA that must be transcribed into a positive sense single-stranded RNA in order to code for a functional peptide or protein and be translated by the cellular translational machinery. Polarity. 30. A group of viruses that have several properties in common, but no individual viral members possess all properties. A virus species is an example of this that share the same genetic linkage and occupy a particular niche. Polythidic class. 31. The entire set of proteins expressed by an organism. Proteome. 32. Structural proteins that come together to form a large identical subunit called a capsomer. The majority of viruses consist of capsomers, which form an icosahedral or helical-shaped virus. Protomer. 33. Pain or discomfort occurring behind the eye, symptom often associated with dengue fever. Retroorbital pain. 34. A virus that codes the coat protein in which its genome is encapsulated, but that does not code for a polymerase necessary for genome replication, and as a result, it is dependent upon a helper virus for replication. Hepatitis D virus is a type of this dependent upon hepatitis B virus for replication of its genome. Satellite virus. 35. A viral genome that consists of two or more physically separate RNA or DNA segments or molecules that are usually packaged into a single virion. Segmented genome. 36. Spontaneous molecular formation of a symmetrical virus particle under thermodynamic equilibrium conditions through non-covalent interactions. Some viruses can undergo this when mixtures of structural proteins and the viral genome are placed in a test tube and conditions favor non-covalent interactions. Example, tobacco mosaic viruses and polioviruses can undergo this. Self-assembly. 37. Polythetic class of viruses that share the same replicating lineage and occupy a particular niche. Species. 38. Different isolates of the same virus that come from different geographic locations. Examples, influenza A virus strains. Strains. 39. Proteins that make up the assembled virus particle. Structural protein. 40. A collection of signs or symptoms that together are characteristic of an infectious disease. Syndrome. 41. Specificity of a virus for a particular cell type or tissue. Tropism. 42. A fast sequencing technology for detecting viruses present in biological fluids if their sequence is already known or close to that of viruses that have already been described. It can also be used to quickly sequence and analyze large genomes. Example, part of the human genome. Unbiased next-generation sequencing. 43. A virus whose phenotype differs from the original wild-type strain, but whose genetic basis is not known. Variant. 44. An infectious RNA associated with certain plant diseases. Viroid.